Hey guys, what's up? It's Vampire Bride, and it's time for my collection update for 2022. This is a video I do every year for the first video of the year. This year we focused more on playing the games than just collecting, but we still managed to amass almost 100 games at 94 games for this year. We focused a lot on PlayStation this year because of our backwards compatible PlayStation 3 and because of getting a PlayStation 5. We also kind of focused on Switch because it's probably my current favorite console, and we did a lot of Pokemon this year. So Xbox 360, Wii U, and even GameCube kind of got a little neglected this year. At 23 PlayStation 4 games, it is the console that we collected the most for this year. Every year I pick a few games out of the games that we collected for the year and do a mini review of them for the video. So these are the games that I picked for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Journey Collector's Edition is a short game at about 90 minutes. It's an awesome artistic indie game. I love unique games like this that have a very distinctive art style. It was released on the PlayStation 3 March 13th of 2012 and developed by That Game Company. This indie adventure game may be a short game, but the disc actually includes 6 games. These games throw you in with little direction and leave you to figure out what's going on, with no tutorial, leaving some room for exploration. There are clues, and nothing was too difficult to figure out. I easily beat each game in one night and was left wanting more. I was glad to have the other games on the disc. To turn 2 with similar engrossing art styles. In Journey, you control a nameless character whose goal is to reach the shining mountaintop. I don't want to say too much as I don't want to spoil the game, because this one is definitely worth playing. It's a simple, calming, one-of-a-kind experience. It has an IGN score of 9 out of 10 and 92% on Metacritic. The music used invokes emotion and really fits in with the gameplay. The game mechanics are simple, and the game may seem a bit slow to some, especially in the beginning, but to me it was immersive and calm. There was no rush to finish, no boss fight to beat, just a serene journey through the desert, with stunning visuals, a nice flow to the gameplay. The game also comes with Gravedigger, Dukewort, and Nostril Shot. I don't really care to play the last 3, but definitely want to play Flow, as it has similar stunning graphics to Flower and Journey. Another on here on the same disc that I really enjoyed is Flower. It's also an interesting game, though also short. In Flower, you use the controller to control where a flower petal goes, and you go through and collect more flower petals as you touch other flowers. You control the flower petals by tilting the controller, so it does take a minute to get used to the controls. The calmness in the game makes you really want to sit back and open every single flower. The music hits notes and the controller vibrates along with opening the new flowers. It's much quicker paced at times, and other times it's just taking your time and going through it. And an honorable mention here to Donut County for the PS4. Another short and quick but entertaining game with a hilarious storyline. Most simply put, you literally play as a whole and go through the levels, sucking everything in the town in. This is another game that can be finished in one sit down, but it was very worth the playthrough.
Great way to go.
The next game I want to talk about is Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. I watched this show and kind of thought it was stupid. And though parts of it are hilarious, I'm not really a fan. But still, I couldn't resist trying out Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. And I will tell you that this game is a blast. Platinuming it was a pain in the butt, but I will get to that in a moment. Just watching this game be played is surprisingly satisfying, but putting on the VR headset and really immersing yourself into the world of Rick and Morty is a whole other experience. And believe me when I tell you, you can absolutely get lost in this game and lose all sense of direction in the real world. Rick and Morty Virtual Reality was developed by Alchemy Labs and published by Adult Swim Games. It was released on the PC in 2017 and the PlayStation 4 in 2018. It is crazy fun getting in there and having hands that can grab these weird items you see in the game. You pick up a disc and put it in to play a level. You're able to go back to other discs and replay minigame challenges, like blasting the bugs in space bureaucracy and charging the battery. For the story, Rick creates a clone of Morty to do chores, and you play as clone Morty, doing whatever Rick says.
Holy crap, Rick! You made a Morty clone, Rick!
Including laundry, computer repair, and obtaining items for Rick. It got a 70 out of 100 in Metacritic on the PS4. This game keeps you thinking whether you're mixing items, shooting, or solving puzzles throughout the exploration in the game. If you have VR, this game is a must play, even if you don't like the show. It's a fairly short game at about 3 hours, but it's packed full of fun, so still worth the $40-ish price point. But it could take significantly longer if you want to platinum it. There are 18 trophies listed, but they sure make you work for some of them. Some just take time, like 1,000 Years Troy and Morty, where you play Troy until your in-game years add up to 1,000 years. This one was a bit tedious and annoying. Others are quick and easy, like Big Hands mode, where you just take a growth pill. But there are 2 trophies that aren't quite so easy. In space bureaucracy, you hold a gun in each hand and shoot the bug dudes. You have to shoot 100 to get to the trophy. Doesn't sound that hard, but they shoot back and one shot and you're dead. Even harder though is fully charged, where you have to pull levers and push buttons without time running out to get the battery to 100%. I had some trouble with this one, but I finally found a rhythm to it and knocked it out. Another awesome VR game we got this year is Moss, where you play as an adorable little mouse named Moss and help him get around. It's a beautiful game, but I haven't done much of it yet, so it just gets an honorable mention instead of a full mini review. Full mini review. That's kind of an oxymoron, but you get what I'm saying. And next we have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, I want to make clear that this is just a mini review, not a full comprehensive review, because there's so much more that could be said about this game. This is one of the games that we got a PS5 for and has truly not disappointed. There is so much that could be said about this game. Basically, I would give this game an A+ rating in all fronts. Music, an A+. Emotional connection, story, graphics, immersion, and gameplay an A+. Adapting to new tech, in this case the DualSense controller, an A+. You barely press the trigger lightly, and that equals one shot to some weapons. But you press it down all the way, and it equals multiple and or more damage. It's so well done. There are times I wish you could pick between characters more in the challenges instead of just playing as your Rivet. But that's just about the only negative I have for this entire game. This may just be the best Ratchet and Clank game. Besides maybe Ratchet and Clank 2, which is amazing also. It kind of throws you in, so if you haven't played the other Ratchet and Clank games, you won't be able to fully get everything. Ratchet and Clank has always been good at growing with its audience, and Rift Apart is no exception. I don't want to talk too much about the story, but anyone who has played any of the Ratchet and Clank games should know Ratchet wanted to find his Lombax race, as he seemed to be the only one left. That creates the basis for this game, and I love that it kind of ties together with the original games, and that he meets Rivet, the other Lombax you get to play as. The amount of variety of weapons in this game, from the classics like a version of the Rhino to the new Mr. Fungi, have so much creativity. The amount of weapon choices amazes me. It got such positive reviews. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart got a IGN score of 9 out of 10 and a GameStop score of 4.5 out of 5. It was released in 2021 as a third-person shooter platform game, developed by Insomniac for the PlayStation 5. Going through the portals, which completely reminded me of Portal and Portal 2 that I played on the PC. Anyway, loading the levels instantly, and the PS5 does not skip a beat. It amazes me watching while a whole different level instantly gets loaded. Armor is purely cosmetic, but fun to play around with. And collecting armor does only give you small health bonuses, but it's still worth collecting. It's cool that Ratchet's armor from previous games can be used. If a weapon is unlocked, both Ratchet and Rivet can both use it. And there is just not enough good to be said about this game. Maybe one day I will do a real comprehensive review of it. But for now, that's my mini review. And then we have a honorable mentions for the PlayStation 5 as well, with Astrobot's Playroom. It is a PlayStation 5 must-have, as this game is so freaking fun. Luckily, it comes free on the PlayStation 5, but if you haven't played it, you really should, because it is a fun little game. Next is a game that I truly enjoyed this year. Though it's not a new game, it is a new version. Xenoblade Chronicles for the Switch. Xenoblade is an action role-playing game. Originally published in North America in 2010 and was developed by Monolith Games. It has heavy combat, exploration, and role-playing features. Each game presents a new group of characters, which I didn't really know beforehand, and I was totally crushed learning that the same characters that I had grown attached to didn't carry on throughout the further games. I really didn't know anything about this game. I just got it because I had seen a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 trailer playing while I was shopping in GameStop and just had to have it. But of course, I wanted to start at the beginning, so I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition on the Switch. Each character has their own unique stories that really envelops you into the character development. Shoga is the main character, but at times you have to play as other characters, and almost always you can choose who you really want to play as your number one and who you want to put as your team members. Again, I don't want to go too far into the storyline because spoilers, but basically Shulk is chosen kind of accidentally to be the bearer of the Monado, a super powerful, very important sword. And he's not even a battle expert, he's not into combat, but here he is thrown into this role, and he does the leader role very well. Because their home is under attack, Shulk has to use the Monado and these visions to help guide them. Shulk and his friends meet some unlikely helpers along the way and, of course, are able to make it through the combat. There is some grinding in this game, but the grinding was never too unbearable as there were tons of side missions to help you level up, and it wasn't overly hard. You can use special attacks called battle arts that you learn to help you level up throughout the game, but Shulk will also auto attack if close enough to the opponent. So even while your special moves in combat are replenishing, you can be dealing damage to the opponent. Your team helps out a lot during combat, unlike many AI teammates. So picking the right team and leveling up your team members is important. You level up your character and team's moves, as well as pick their weapons and armor. Stronger weapons and armor can be bought or found in treasure chests that you get from defeating enemies. So it's good to check periodically to see if you or your team needs upgrading, especially before a big battle, as it makes you not have to level up quite as much to get through that battle. I love the auto run feature in this game and definitely got spoiled to it. When playing games afterwards, I was kind of used to the auto run when I finished Xenoblade Chronicles. I kept wishing for the same feature. It helps a lot with the long stretches that come up many times throughout Shulk's journey. Just let him run and steer him a bit along the way to avoid enemies or draw their eyes, whichever, and to collect the mini items scattered around. Just press up arrow and off he runs. There are some higher level enemies scattered throughout each land and a good variety of lands and enemies. Higher level enemies, of course, help you level up quicker, as well as the side quest, but there are many enemies that you have to avoid in the beginning because you are not leveled up enough to handle. One super cool thing that I wanted to mention, it was not able to be in my game room tour as I just got it for Christmas, is my new keyboard. It is the Pokemon Edition Razer keyboard. I'll show off my graded Switch games that we got at Classic Game Fest in Austin, Texas, as well as my amiibo shelf, and quite a few amiibos were gotten at Classic Game Fest and for Christmas. We got quite a bit of stuff at Classic Game Fest, but not a huge number of games. And one more thing to mention is this Metroid Dread Special Edition. So that sums up the 2022 collection update. I am excited to see what 2023 brings, and we have actually already added games to the collection for 2023. To know more about the collection in a little more detail and have a closer look at different items in the collection, check out my last video, the Game Room Tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and of course subscribe for more videos to come.